Welcome to Pastors and Pagans. Oh, I just said it, so.
Now we're recording.
Now we are recording.
Go, Chase. Go, Mana.
Okay, well, hey guys. Welcome to Pastors and Pagans. We have Pastor Jack, who is so more than just Jack. He's the Jack of all trades, Jack.
Jeebus.
Like the Jack in the Box.
You guys are stuck in each other's dick again. Introduce yourself. I want you guys to introduce yourselves. Quit kissing ass. Give a short, approximate, modest, but prideful recounting of your lives. Thank you.
Okay. And that's the pagan. If you were wondering which one was it, that was him. I just said it. I'm Chase. I've already introduced Jack. That's another Chase that we have there.
Guest speaker today, Chase.
Chase, guest speaker. And we're going to turn it over to Tim because he's got some questions and things to go. And he's got a lot of organization things that he set up prior to this, I'm sure.
Now, wait a second. We were going to do some celebrating because we have reached our first goal of subscribers. 5.
We have up to 5 subscribers.
That's 5. We made it to 5.
After 1 week, 25 views. And most of those were my family and Jack and Chase. And my parents watched it, and my dad was not even disappointed with me. I was very disappointed with myself. That's not how you podcast. I apologize, people of the internet.
Oh, no.
You guys are going to have to speak up.
Can you hear me now?
That's a little better. There we go.
Yeah, so I'll admit that as a guest, I haven't watched it yet or listened to it yet. So I'm coming into this fresh with no idea what went on the last time. You were not missing anything.
Yeah. You know what's kind of cool about this whole thing, guys? I think that we're clearly demonstrating what a lot of people have had to suffer through in 2020. As like we're probably like a vast majority of a lot of people right now that are having to deal with Zoom for the first time, like babies in a new world where nobody can hear them. Like 85-year-olds, old people, 95-year-old people that can't figure out how to work their volumes. So this is like good. I feel like a lot of people will relate to this one day. Tim.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not paying attention to
Yeah,
anything.
you should be used to this by
Jim.
now.
There we
What's
go.
that?
Just got the end of what you said.
Can you hear me, internet? Jack! Chase! Can you hear me? Are you there?
That's the one right there. You got to get right up in the face of the computer. That sounded great.
Today with us we have Chase of One Man of Big Island. We have all worked together construction at one point or another. Jack, Chase Galhani, and Chase.
Yeah, Jack, just nod your head.
We're losing you guys again.
Just nod your head, Jack. Just go, uh-huh.
You guys can't hear us at all?
I can hear you. The computer doesn't like Tim, though.
Are you serious? Okay,
The best I can hear you is when you like leaned right in like this, when you were right up against it.
I don't know what's going on, but Tim is yelling at the top of his lungs over here, like we're gonna get the cops caught on us pretty soon. And you guys can't hear him. He's right in front of the camera. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
That's
Nice and
weird
clear.
because I'm not even kidding. He's right in front of the camera yelling at it, and you guys can't hear him. Like the cops are.
I think it might be the Lord. It might be the Lord. I feel like the Lord is trying to shut this down. Whatever Tim has to
Maybe
say.
Molly put some censorship software on his computer or something that, like, when he speaks, it just cuts out.
Okay,
I do it
so
with Tim naturally.
unfortunately, this isn't working. But I'm Chase, and the reason Tim wants to interview me is I was brought up Mormon or LDS, depending on who you're talking to. Can you guys still hear us? Are we still coming?
We can. We can hear you nice and clear.
I'll try and
You
talk.
sound great, Chase.
Tim, shush. Don't say anything. Shush. Go on, Chase. Talk. Sounds good. No, Tim. No, Tim. No talk.
All right, so I have a little bit of an idea where Tim was wanting to go with this. And so I'm going to throw out a couple questions for Chase. And first of all, and if Tim, if I missed anything, then I think you just need to get right up in the computer and speak in a slightly louder than normal voice, and it'll pick you up, maybe. So Chase, first of all, tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up and going to the Mormon church. And well, let's just start there.
Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so sorry, we were having a laughing fit over here because we're trying to talk and you're trying to talk. But anyway, we'll see if we can get Tim to pick up too. But we think you guys.
No, Tim. Shh. Go on, Chase.
Anyway, so to start off, I was raised in Leie on Oahu, which is a town that is basically, I would say, more than 90% Mormon or LDS. Like the entire town goes to the Mormon church. And so growing up, it was weird if you weren't Mormon, basically, you know? So the town that I grew up in, the stores were all shut down on Sunday. No one went to the beach on Sundays. No one walked around. No one played on Sundays. Like, that's how it was. And I lived there till I was 5 years old. And then we moved to the town next door in Hauula. And that wasn't quite as much, but there was still a pretty heavy Mormon population there. So, but it was, you know, it was interesting. It was a very straight and narrow, like, this is what you do. Everything was laid out for you, all the rules, regulations, and everything. And there was no room for error, it felt like, I guess. Sorry, I don't know how extensively you guys want to go at this, so just keep popping in with questions or something, or Tim can ask questions since you guys can actually hear him, and I'll answer his questions. Since he had a whole
no, that's great, man. That gives us some background there. Mana, you have any questions for him yet?
I do. You say you were a part of the Mormon. At what point did you say this isn't working for me, or you grew up in it?
Okay, so in order to talk about it, okay, so I am over here with the pagan, but I do consider myself a Christian, yes, and I have a very colorful background, very colorful history, and I've come to the point in my life that I've understood that if you can't openly talk about it, then you haven't truly been forgiven for it. And I feel like I've done everything that I could with the Lord, everything I could with my other half, and I just have to keep moving forward in life. But so I got married when I was 21 years old. The girl that I married was 17, maybe. Like, she got pregnant. That's why we got married. And being brought up Mormon, she got pregnant, and it was like, and back then, I should back it up a little bit. I was smoking, drinking, all that stuff. I wasn't going to church. I was partying. I was on steroids. Like, I felt like the man, and I was living it up. You know what I mean? And so being raised Mormon, that's what I went back to. And at this point, I was probably, let's see, I'm 28 right now. My daughter is 9. So yeah, I was 21 years old. Sorry, I'm horrible with times and dates and all of that stuff. But anyway, so I was 21 years old, and I was like, you know what? I got to clean up my life, and I'm going to be a father. I got to do this right. And because I was raised Mormon, that's what I went back to. And so I went back to the Mormon church, and they're like, hey, you got to get married. You know, the bishop at the time. And I don't want to dock any of these people because they're all great people, you know, and that's the thing. Like, regardless of what anyone wants to say about the Mormon religion, the people, I know some genuinely great people that would do anything that you needed for them. You know, like,
Oh yeah,
amazing people that just gave up time, money, food, shelter, everything, like incredible people. But the structure of the religion and the mentality that it brewed basically is what rubbed me the wrong way, you know? And so I was told to get married and all of that. And then as soon as we got married, she got baptized into the Mormon religion. And a few months down the road, she started smoking and drinking again, and she ended up fooling around on me, and she split. And so I had a daughter. Oh, not a few months, this is like a couple of years down the road, basically this happened. But so I had a 2-year-old daughter. My wife had split, went back to where she was from, and that whole process started. Well, I met another girl and got involved with her. She had a kid too. So, as she was a single parent, we were both in the same boat, trying to, just move ourselves forward. And we were still going to the Mormon church. And she showed up to church with me one day and sat next to me shortly after. Like, I will admit, we got involved pretty quickly. That point in when I was younger, like, I don't know, I just didn't see any point in waiting around. Like, I had actually flown up to Alaska, tried to get my wife to come back with me and everything, and she was fooling around with guys up there. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm coming back home. I got my daughter with me. I'm just gonna do what I gotta. And in the meantime, when I came back home, I met somebody. We started talking, and we were both in the same boat, trying to better ourselves for our kids, trying to move our kids forward, trying to settle down and make a family, And so we got together, and the two of us went to church together. And the bishop at the time had told me, different guy who told me to get married, but he told me, oh, you guys shouldn't sit together in church. You're still married, and with everything going on, you shouldn't sit together. And I was kind of like, with everything that I'm going through in my life, the fact that I'm kind of turning to the Lord and trying to come to church to make things right, and you're going to tell me not to sit with somebody, you're going to make me have a negative association with it, So right there, I was kind of like, oh, if that's how you feel, then I just won't come. And so I fell back a little bit. And then, I kind of went back and forth with the Mormon church for a couple of years. Anyway, me and that girl that I was with, we ended up splitting up. I was unfaithful. We had a child together. I should say our kid is 6 years old now, or 5.5. She's not quite 6 yet, but or maybe she's 6. I don't know. I can't think straight right now. Too much stuff going through my mind. I apologize, folks. But we have a child together. Beautiful little girl, and she's incredible. But anyway, so after the baby was born, going with the stresses of having a child, paying the bills and everything, I fell away from the Lord. I was unfaithful, and our relationship broke apart. Immediately after our relationship broke apart, I married someone else. Not the girl that I had a kid with, but someone else. And because that relationship obviously wasn't intended to work, that fell apart. I was unfaithful in that relationship. I wasn't in any walk with the Lord or anything like that. And that relationship fell apart, multiple reasons. I don't want to dock her. She was great to me, but things just didn't mesh. That was never meant to work. My heart belonged with another person, but after what I did, I thought that person hated my guts, And if my ex ever hears this, or my wife ever watch, I consider the person that I live with my wife. Jack knows that. Tim knows that. But either of them ever watch this, I apologize. I'm putting it all out there, but that's just who I am. That's the way I view my life, And anyway, the girl that I had a kid with, my youngest daughter, after everything that happened, she ended up taking me back. She had found the Lord. She started going to a non-denominational Christian church, Mana Christian Ohana. Am I even allowed to say this stuff on here? I don't know.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
you're doing great, man.
She started going to that church, and she found forgiveness, and she was able to forgive me. And because of that, we ended up getting back together and bringing our family back together. And she told me straight up, she's like, this is the church that I'm going to. If you want to come with us on Sundays, you can. If not, do whatever you want to do. And so I started going to that church with them. And it took a long time, because being raised Mormon, my mind, the structure of religion, of spirituality, of all of that, it made me believe that, oh, this is wrong. This isn't how you find the Lord. This isn't what you do. And then I really had to break myself down and come to a point. And I had actually done some other stuff. My wife had gone to the mainland, not to the mainland, but to Oahu, and I had done some stuff on the internet that I shouldn't have done.
No, that's awesome. I mean, I like the whole. I mean, like, whoa, Tim, you're not part of this conversation at this point. No, but no, I really like that. The honesty is awesome. So you a lot of that kind of stuff went down, and now you still ended up with that girl. You're still with her?
Yeah, I still ended up with that girl. I'm still with her because she was able to find the Lord, and that led her to forgive me, which led me to find the Lord. And so through all of that, that's where I am. I feel like I've been saved. You know, Jesus Christ is my Lord, my Savior, and I can walk through that. But you know, I work with Tim and Jack. They both know I'm not perfect. I don't claim to be perfect. I am who I am. I'm kind of set in my ways. I'm trying to get better, but you know, talking to you guys with my lip packed right now because that's the kind of guy that I am. Jack's laughing because I'm trying to quit. I'm slowing down, I promise. But anyway,
I'm proud of you, man. I know it's not easy. You're doing a good job.
yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you this. So that's cool. I mean, we've heard like the length, starting off in the Mormon church, the things that you've been through and everything. What would you say are some of the biggest impactful changes or maybe turning points that have taken place in your life in maybe the last year or so?
You want impactful changes as far as like my walk with the Lord or changing
Anything.
from Mormon to where I am now? I
Yeah,
feel
just
like
within like the last year, have there been like some things that have come along that you're like, man, that was an important choice, important crossroads that I came to, anything like that?
Like,
anyway, and this Chase is not the Chase Master, but no, I mean, I would say that like my biggest thing has been to choose my family over everything else. Like with everything going on, especially like we all got affected by COVID, you know, changes in work, changes in, you know, household settings, kids being home, stuff like that. And, you know, for me, my thing was like, I guess if I humbled myself, if I stepped back from everything around me, like my biggest responsibility was my family. And because I feel like I walk with the Lord now and all of that stuff, just the way my life has changed for the better, I believe, I felt like my family was okay. Like regardless of everything that happened, we were always going to make a way through it, you know, and we'd thrive, not just survive, but we'd find a way to thrive somehow, you know? So I think that's been the biggest thing in the past year, just because I've become comfortable with who I am, what I've done, you know, my forgiveness, all of that stuff. I can move forward and just take care of what I got to take care of, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That absolutely makes sense, man. I tell you what, in the last a couple of years that I've gotten to know you, man, you're a hard worker. The fact that you love your family is evident in everything, and that you're dialed in. If it's good for your family, you want to be a part of it, and you're real, man. You know, this is one of the things I love about you, and it's kind of the point of what we're doing here is that we get to be who we are and be real and honest. Tim's had some great things to share tonight, which has been awesome. He's been nice and quiet.
Oh yeah, I know. It's no, don't do it again. No, I think the real and honesty is something that everybody really needs anyways. Like, so there's no, Tim, we can't hear you. It's just shush, 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 shush.
Take you any day.
Oh, we heard that last part.
Did he say thank you every day?
He did. He said thank you every day. But no. For real though, this, I think, I don't know if this thing has a purpose, but if anything, it is for realness, because without actually reflecting back on your life choices, Tim, this is something that you need to do more often. But like, without looking back and just reflecting back this and being honest about it, that's huge and very much appreciated. And I'm sure, oh my gosh, Tim, I'm really, this is funny. It's funny that this episode would be just totally absent of Tim. I think this should be the new platform for it to be like that.
Oh, you guys can't do that because then it's just pastors and preachers kids. I don't even know how you play into this, Chase. I'm sorry.
Next week, episode 3, we get to know
Jack Duggan and Chase Calhani. Episode 3 next week. Come back, Pastors and Pagans. Episode 3.
Yeah. Is it over?
It sounds like Tim's wanting to wrap this thing up, but I can't hear a word he's saying. So,
wait, I want to.
growing up Mormon, you said it was straight. How did you view the world as a child?
Oh boy.
Not a word. Can't hear a word, Tim. You just.
Right, let me read the question. They're gonna play this game. His question was, how did I?
Day, Chase.
It's actually
I heard
a really good
something.
question. He said, growing up Mormon, you guys can hear me, right? So you gotta be
Yeah.
mentioning something, which is hilarious. This is a great podcast. I'm sorry, it's hilarious. I gotta admit, this is a great podcast. I love comedy. But anyway, he asked me growing up Mormon. I told him before, like it was really strict. So how did I view the world and how it worked and all of that stuff? And it actually was very interesting because like I remember growing up, like not being able to watch certain TV shows. There was a thing, so like we couldn't drink coffee. I will say, like in my house, we were never super strict on that. I do know some people that were Mormon that they didn't drink any soda, any caffeine. It just depends on like I'm sure there's some people in Utah and whatnot that won't drink any of that, or they didn't back in the day. But
I've always just been curious of that, but
yeah, they also had polygamy back in the day too. So who knows? But yeah, we
Tim?
drank soda in our house. We didn't drink coffee or anything like that. And you know, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it was kind of weird because the world was like, you know, wow, to see like I feel like I was really sheltered. Like there was a lot of stuff that I didn't experience until I got a lot older. And then when it did come, it was like, boom, holy crap, I wasn't ready for it, you know? And so I feel like it's kind of important to be more real with our kids. And unfortunately, the world, like we still have to shelter our kids and whatnot, protect them, but the world is messed up and they got to be ready for it, you know, because it's the world they have to live in. Unfortunately, we try to make it better. We work hard for that. We pray for that. But at the end of the day, it's still our job to prepare them, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm right in there right now
What's
with
your
my
next
two
question?
kids.
Let's play their game now.
You just don't want to be one of those kids who was like sheltered from Christmas and they celebrated Hanukkah instead. And then afterwards, they just went crazy, like ham when it came to shopping and celebrating Christmas.
That's what it's
Right.
like. Tim,
Were you asking me a question? Because Tim's still asking me questions over here because he invited
oh,
me.
ask away, Tim. Ask him and he'll answer. But
Yeah.
we can't. You repeat what Tim says because
Yeah,
he's like a
no,
little
for
muted.
sure.
Okay.
If you guys legit can't hear him, I'll repeat what he says and I'll answer the question. And yeah,
We cannot hear him. It's not us making this up. Like it's really hilarious, but it's kind of refreshing at the same time. But go on.
okay. So his question is there anything different about how I view the world now opposed to when I was a child? See, they gotta be able to hear you. They're fucking with you.
Nope, we can't hear a word he's saying. This is the best podcast ever.
Oh, okay. But you guys I repeated his question. You guys got it, right?
Yep.
Okay. So how I view the world differently, right? Yeah. So I will say, like, I'm a lot more open-minded to things. Like, I see how things aren't so black and white, you know, not to get all PC. I don't want to get us canceled, but like, I think this is the good way to talk about it. Like, growing up Mormon, like, we didn't even talk about like homosexuality or any of that stuff. Like, that just like, it was like hush hush. Like, if someone in the church had that going on, it was like, I don't even want to say shun. It's just like you didn't hear about that person. We didn't talk about that person. And like thinking back on it, like I feel bad because although I might not agree with it, my mindset now is like you do you, you let me do me, and we'll go about our ways. You know, you be happy, I'll be happy, and everyone will get along. You know, and so like I'm a lot more open minded where I'm like, hey, if that like now I have friends that live that lifestyle. I have gay friends, I have lesbian friends. You know, and you know, I might not want my kids to be thinking, hey, that's okay. But at the same time, don't be doing your thing in front of my kids and we get along just fine, you know? And they're all very respectful. I don't know anyone who just throws it in our face. All of our friends that are in that community, I don't even know how to talk about this on a freaking podcast, but all of my friends that are in that community, they're very respectful about our beliefs and stuff like that. And it just works both ways, you know? And so because of my viewpoints now, I can love them and be friends with them. Whereas growing up, like when I see a gay person in school, it was like, okay, walk this way and let them go that way kind of deal, you know? So the world was different, like for sure.
I think it comes back to that balancing out, like you said, where you gotta want to protect your kids, but at the same time, you don't want to hide what's really there, and that's a real thing that's really happening. And I feel like as I've gotten older, because I work in the music industry and everything, and I go out to LA and I work with people that are in that all the time, and so it's like, no, it's not even funny. But I mean, like, but if you like are from a small town or whatever, and you're not, and it's like you said, where it's just hush hush, no talk about it, it's not there, that's a fake reality. And then when you do get around it, you have a really hard time of how to react, because
For sure.
it's like a fictional, it's like for lack of a better word, it's like seeing a unicorn where you're like, oh, this isn't real. Like, this is not a thing that happens. And I didn't mean that in a joking way, but it's like,
Yeah.
so I feel like I've learned to treat it as what it is with a lot of things, where it's no bigger than any other kind of thing that's going on. Like, you have a lot of things like you would say, like anti-gossiping or whatever it be, or you got your guys that are drinking or whatever, you know, there's no levels to these kind of things. That's my opinion, but I've kind of learned to treat it where it's not weird for me, because I've grown to know truth more, and a good foundation to go out and see what things are. And people are people. That's the heart behind it, is that these are souls we're dealing with. And it's like, it's very important. And if it's important to the Lord, it should be important to me. And I'm real about it. They know where I'm standing, but there's no kind of conflict. And I work with it all the time. And it's really interesting to see what God has done to like use me and be able to work, because I'm in situations where I can talk and play music and still be able to work in the environment. I'm just saying, I totally get that, being in a place where nobody talks about it, nobody says anything about it. And then when you're amongst it and in the middle of it in LA, and then it can be very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But that's why I've been beginning to learn.
All right,
more.
Tim, you got any other questions for Chase?
Yep.
Yes. What is your personal creation? Your personal.
My personal belief, I do believe that, you know, God did create the earth. You know, I am Christian, and that's what I believe.
Hang on, Chase. Hey, hang on, man. You got to repeat the question. We couldn't hear a word Tim said. What was the question that he said?
They couldn't hear the question, so he wants to know. He wants to know what my creation theory is, my personal creation theory. You know, he's laughing over here, but and so my response to that is, I do believe that God did create the earth, the heavens and the earth. You know, I've been through that, and now growing up Mormon, they do teach things a little differently than what I've been taught through the Bible, and, you know, just going through my Christian walk now. And so in my mind, looking back, it's often hard for me to separate which was which, like which I learned back then, because
Can you tell us what is the difference?
okay, so he wants to know what the Mormon beliefs difference is versus the Christian beliefs. And so I guess to explain it, like, so basically the way I learned it growing up Mormon is that, you know, God created the heavens and the earth, all of that stuff. And then when you die, you go to spiritual paradise, you wait for judgment, and then they have their 3 different kingdoms of glory, and you get judged based on the life that you lived, and you go to each kingdom. And at the highest kingdom, you could actually become a god and create your own worlds and everything. And so I do know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, like I had a lot of friends growing up in the Mormon church. So they're like, dude, I want to get there just so I can create a world and have dragons and unicorns running around. Like, that's what they wanted to do. Like, that's why they wanted to go to that highest kingdom of glory. And I thought that was hilarious as shit. You know, like, yeah, I want dragons and unicorns. But anyway, and so, but like, from that understanding,
You
like,
might find a lot more converts in the Tolkien community.
Wait, now, okay, we still can't hear a word that Tim is saying, but I can tell, Chase, you got to maybe edit those questions down a little bit, right? Because whatever you just said, I got a bad vibe on what that was.
no. So his
Yeah,
last
me
comment
too.
was they might get a lot of converts from the Tolkien community. Somebody's got to get on that.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad. That's
I'm not
okay.
really. Am I editing down what you're saying? My tone might be different, but I'm not editing. This is my brother right here, man. I don't censor. I don't edit. I'm real. I might not.
I'm just saying you might need to. Just be prepared in case you need to
No.
censor a few words out of his question.
Then what's
I
the
think-
sense in having a pagan here? Come on, guys.
Yeah, no, that was awesome though. That was a good good back and forth there, Tim, with your questions. That was really awesome.
Do you have any more?
I think probably I can only imagine this, Chase, is that you know,
He does
it's
have
gotta be
another-
confusing.
He does have
Oh,
another.
Tim's asking another question?
He does have one more, but if you want to make your commentary first, I mean, it's up to you guys. You said you
All I
did-
was going to say is that you said it was confusing because it's hard to remember whether you learned it when you were young or whether it was something you've learned going through the Bible now, because the Mormon church and Christianity use a lot of the same terms, but they have different definitions, right? And you and I have talked about this. Probably the clearest difference between the Mormon church and the Christian belief is that the Mormon church, like many religions, it's works-based. You need to do the right works. You need to earn, you need to climb the steps and attain righteousness. Where Christianity, it's Jesus who has done all the work on our behalf, and it's by grace we've been saved. And those are huge differences. Those aren't even in the same ballpark.
I will say that with that having been said, like, having been brought up Mormon, like, yes, it was very works-based. You have to do all of these things. You have to serve, do this. I still strive to help out the community, to do service, you know, to be as good of a person as I can now. But I will say I have come to understand that, yeah, I've already been saved. You know, he's already done it for me. Like, it's there. All I have to do is accept it. And I've accepted it. And, you know, it doesn't mean you go ahead and do whatever you want in my mind, but it does mean that, you know, you've been saved already. So knowing that, you still try and live your life, but it takes some stress off of your shoulders for sure, you know? So, sorry, I'm going to let Tim ask his question now.
That was
So funny. It's just really funny. It's very funny. It's hard not to laugh at it, but
That's pretty freaking cool. Okay, so if you guys legit didn't hear him, his question was,
Didn't hear a word.
so he asked if growing up Mormon, has it affected like how I see things now in my day-to-day life and like how it's affected me? And a great example is, like, I was just thinking about this on the way over. So growing up Mormon, like, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't do any of that stuff, right? And, you know, my wife will have a drink once in a while, you know, after the kids go to bed, sometimes while they're still up, but she likes to relax, and I'm okay with that now. But for a long time, every time she'd go to have a drink, sorry, see, the bugs is a real thing, and one just flew in my ear. Every time she'd go to get a drink, I'd be irritated, like, oh, why are you drinking for? Why do you have to drink? You know, because growing up Mormon, you didn't drink, you know, that was just the thing. And it would affect me. And this was after I had been saved and everything. And it's like, she'd go to have a glass of wine and I'd get irritated. And it's like, while I'm over there with tobacco in my lip, which was totally looked down upon too in the Mormon church, I should say, but I'd be over here judging her. And that was because of my Mormon upbringing. And it took me a long time to be like, you know what? She can do that and still be a good parent and still be a good wife. Like, there's nothing wrong with having a couple of drinks, you know, at the end of the night, you know. So that was one way that growing up Mormon affects how I see things now, and I had to work through that. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's a work of the Holy Spirit that points out, you know, by our own nature, we're just hypocrites anyhow, right? We love to point the finger at other people. And so there's the Holy Spirit going, well, look at yourself. You know, even Jesus said, you know, why don't you take the plank out of your own eye before you worry about the splinter in your brother's? You know, it's the work that he's doing in us.
Yep.
I think that's been my experience anyways, is growing anyways. Tim?
That was all the questions I had. Do you guys have anything else to say? Do you want to blow each other some more? Talk about each other's accomplishments and
No,
life choices. Congratulations.
I was curious that you didn't have anything because I felt like you want your own planet, Tim. Is this something that you would secretly like, was your own planet?
This
one
is
day?
something that I would be interested in.
We
If
can
it
hear
is
him now.
works-based, it may be past the point where I can do that. That would I don't think I can catch up now. But
How is it that your voice works now? It hasn't worked yet, and now it's coming.
Oh,
through
look
great
at that!
now.
It works now, huh? Oh, it works now,
That's
Jack.
weird.
Oh, you just did that on purpose. You just did that on purpose.
All right. Well, I think that was it. Pastors and pagans, thank you for coming. Come back next week, episode 3.